I see my dog Original up in the spot as well too. Shout out to Mr. Original, one of our elders and some elder statement who always holds it down over here on News Total. Shout out to my people over there on YouTube, the ones that's coming in. Guys, make sure you go ahead and share out tonight's broadcast. Share out tonight's broadcast. If you have not, go ahead and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. For all my people over here on X, make sure you guys go ahead and retweet out the space. Retweet the space. Let everybody know that we're live. Let everybody know that we're live and we're holding a space/broadcast simulcast on X and on YouTube as well too. Tonight's discussion, like I say, does Panafest promote unity between Black Americans and Africans? That's the question. That's what everybody wants to know. Is there a unity between the two? Is this event over there in Ghana supposed to be celebrating the ancestors that were taken during the transatlantic slave trade? And man, I'm going to touch up on some of the comments and everything else that people have been reading as well too, man. It has been else. Shout out to Original as well too. Like I said, I see you up in there. I know Original. I always look forward to hearing your commentary on this situation as well too. That video, first off, let me read real quick. I want to read what AI says about the actual Panafest. DJ, let me know if you can still hear me. Still can hear me? Okay, I assume DJ can still hear me. Original, send you a co-host if you feel like co-hosting tonight. That's cool. If not, I understand. Let me know if you get that co-host as well. Original, we're gonna be getting this thing. Shout out, I see Dark and Lovely popped her head up in it. It's been a hot minute, so shout out to her. I haven't seen her in a long time, but shout out to that sister as well. I want to read what AI says about this Panafest real quick, and then I'm gonna touch up on the actual post that garnered a lot of attention here on X, and a lot of people been commenting on it. Panafest, short for Pan-African Historical Theater Festival, is a cultural event held in Ghana that celebrates Pan-Africanism and the global African diaspora. It's a festival that blends theater, music, dance, and intellectual discourse to honor African heritage and confront the painful legacy of slavery and colonization. Key facts about Panafest. Location primarily held in Cape Coast and Elmina, Ghana, home to some of the most infamous slave forts. Purpose: to commemorate the struggles of African and the descendants affected by slavery, to reconnect people of African descent with their roots, to promote unity, healing, and cultural pride. Activities: traditional drumming, dancing, and storytelling, theater performances and art exhibitions, visits to slave dungeons, Cape Coast Castle, academic lectures, forms, and spiritual ceremonies. Who attends? Africans from the continent and the diaspora communities around the world, including the U.S., Caribbean, Europe, and South America. Panafest is often paired with Emancipation Day events in Ghana, making it a powerful experience for those tracing their heritage or engaging in cultural reconnection. So that was just the let me see, DJ, if I can get you back up here to co-host. I know you said it kicked you out, so I sent it back to you. But that is just what AI says that the actual Panafest is about. Shout out, I see some of our usuals in here. I see Stephanie, and I see Simply Rick down there as well too. So shout out to you guys. I want to touch up on this actual this actual post that's kind of gone viral here on X the past few days, and everybody's talking about their opinions based on it. Original, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
What's going on with you tonight? You doing okay?
Oh yeah, I'm doing fine. We're just here chilling, listening, and waiting for you to read some of the article and make comments about this whole situation. I think well, I'll let you finish reading first. I'll let you finish your monologue first, and then I'll come in.
Okay. Well, no, all I'm doing is I'm going to touch up. DJ, I see you said that it kicked you out again, so I don't want to remove you because then if I remove you, then it's not going to allow you to come back in the actual space. So if you get a chance, I guess just disconnect and then come back. So because if I remove you, I see you say I'm not even in the space. I'm on the. I know you're on the YouTube, but if I remove you, then it's not going to let you come back in the space. Period. So I don't want to. I don't want to remove you from the space because then it's going to kind of block you from the space. So okay, but let me go ahead and original. I'm just going to touch up on I'm gonna touch up on the actual post that was going viral. And I'm gonna read some of the comments on here. I want y'all to hear what some of the people say for and against the actual festival that takes place in Ghana as well too. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up that actual tweet. And this is from the Black Tucker Carlson, and he went ahead and he posted a video. Somebody else originally posted it, but he reposted. He says, "Hey, Pan Africans, can someone explain why Africans are marking our Holocaust?" They had like a reenaction, I guess, of actual slaves supposedly coming through the actual township, handcuffed, and you had the actual black overseers out there, some with muskets and rifles and stuff pointing to it. Now you did have this character out there with this Donald Trump mask on. I guess a lot of people took offense to that as well too. But he says, "Hey, Pan Africans, can someone explain why Africans are marking our Holocaust?" Then we had P. Ray from Congress, Illinois 7 says this is their story too. Now when she said that, of course she kind of had a back and forth with people. Said Black Tucker Carlson said, "Is it a white people's story too?" So we had a bunch of people. This guy Collins FT says, "You're uneducated enough to understand what's happening on the video. It's understandable." Black Tucker Carlson said, "This does not hit the same coming from an African." I want to get into all of that, but he says Panifest. This other person says Jupiter says Panifest is sacred. That video you posted shows the descendants of the African diaspora reclaiming our blood memory on the soil where trauma began. It's intergenerational healing. The real insult are those who want to forget about the slave trade as if it never happened. Black Tucker Carlson says, "Why does a person have on a President Trump mask?" Black Jake 144 says, what the F is this all about? Yeah, another brother, COINTELPRO, said, "Ironically, these MFers are really going through it. The nerve punching up." Let's read some more. American Freedman said, "It's not our Holocaust, it's their reality." Aggie says, "Wait, so y'all think Africans don't have plays, festivals, etc.?" Key says, "No, they were slaves first. They're marking themselves and don't even know it. When you don't know your history," shaking my head. Prophet Pup says, "The reenactment during Panafest is a powerful reminder of the transatlantic slave trade's impact on African heritage and the global diaspora. It's a form of cultural expression and historical education, aiming to foster unity, healing, the inclusion of contemporary figures." Let's see. Somebody says Simpleton, Fighter for Real says, "I guess there needs to be a reminder that Africans sold Africans around the world. This part of history, for some reason, is never talked about." And then he asked about Gronk. Can you do a deep dive on African? Everybody is always, every time they always keep mentioning Gronk. Donald says, "Isn't this an African story? You want to point out what Donald is doing there? He's representing the white man." The litmus test says, "I thought you were black Indians and the slave trade never happened." Another person, Austin, says, "Because they played a part in it." Another person says, "Africans, do this represent the whole continent?" Mr. Rudolph, PhD, says, "Ask them, how are they marking it when slaves were captured there and brought here?" Another person says, "They said they're blind, bro. They can only see when FBA responds." Dagana Friedman says, "Some of us, my God, the majority of us didn't come here on boats. The memory is slowly coming back to us. We are awakening from our slumber and mind effing of being miseducated." King Capricorn says, "Go ask Dr. Umar." Cream de la Creme says, "Why are you always trying to cause division between African Americans and Africans is a real question. They do this as a way to commemorate the transatlantic slave trade." August says, "Our Holocaust was the most comical thing about this post." Of course, August is a white person as well. Africans, you are also an African. America is not the continent of blacks. Then we don't laugh. We talk about our history of black ancestors. More Meatloaf says, you mean to tell me there was another party involved in the sale of purchasing slaves? Kai Robinson says they sold their enemies into slavery. Durbin, a white man, says because someone offered them $2 to do so. Ghetto Intellectual says, use your brain. Was Donald Trump alive during the slave trade? Mystery Babylon says those Canaanites are the ones who sold us, the Israelites. Maggot says, same. You will watch Jesus film. They're not mocking, but a reenactment of the horrific past of evil kings that sold our brother. Dr. Ill says, for you to call this mocking, you got to be a CIA agent or just farming interactions. Dr. Rudolph said again, and there's Donald Trump. Saint Majara says, I was of the impression that most black Americans are knowledgeable in the history of slavery, slave trade, colonialism, neocolonialism, etc. But I'm beginning to think I was wrong and misled. Your agenda is always to create a state of distrust among your people. Common Man 80 says that's not mocking, that's teaching. There are people on the continent of the mother Africa that have never heard of the transatlantic slave trade because they were educated by Europeans who thought not to be good to educate them, getting caught up with history. Caroline says this has to be one of the most ignorant things I've ever seen. Marucci says this is the worst time for this blank. I wouldn't say they're mocking, might be hysterical reenactment. I mean, history is pretty dark. Never met an African that hated black Americans. I work with a gang of them. I watch how they move. Everyone is tribal, and we have our own. What it says, we have our own. Trying to find what that post started at. We have, yeah, don't worry about it. Matt Hammond says, haven't you literally got the name of another man's username? They made a lot of money from it. So you guys kind of get the point. What's going on? I see a bunch of our people coming here. Original, tell me, what's your thoughts on just some of the comments and some of the actual history behind the Panafest? Do you believe that this is a way to go ahead and tie in unity? The purpose of it is supposed to be emancipation. It's supposed to be paying homage to the actual slaves that were taken from Africa as well too. Shout out to you guys coming up in here, Sway as well too. So what's your thoughts on it? Shout out to my boy Professor up in here as well too. What's up, Professor, with you? I don't know if original, you there?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, my concern is this, okay? Now, I heard you say that one person said they've never met an African that hated, Black Americans. Now, just because they haven't met someone like that, and I don't know if they could be lying. Just because they haven't met someone like that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That's first and foremost. But I think it's they've been doing this stuff. They've been doing some things since like the 90s. But when I heard Dr. Randy Short say that that whole thing about the year return in Ghana, he said it wasn't about us. It was about us bailing Ghana out because Ghana was like billions of dollars in debt. And then after that, then Kenya was planning on doing something related to the Garden of Eden. They wanted us to come bring ourselves and our money over there for tourism and boosting up the local economy, buying whatever, And so I think that when I look at what's going on today and how we found out what these people really think about us, I think this is more about, us, bringing them resources that they can use to do whatever they're going to do with. And these are the same people that basically they sold us into slavery, or sold people into slavery. Because as we know now, there were Black people already in this country. And so when they decided, so they only want to discuss certain issues. They want to give us this romanticized version of what happened. Just like when they're going, like they say, when you go to Ghana and you go to those enslaved dungeons, you got to pay to go in there. And I think you have to pay to go I think you have to pay each one of them you go into, you got to pay to go in there. So in other words, you're going to charge us a fee to see something that was, used to dehumanize us, and they were part of that dehumanization. So it's not, but you want to, it's like you enslaved us, but now you want to make more money off us all over again. And so I don't think, with what is going on now, I don't think it's going to really, I don't think it can really be used to unite us, because we have a different perspective. I mean, back in the 90s, I would say yes, but today I would have to say no, because of the new information that we have, from, those clubhouse days when these Africans and Caribbeans were showing us exactly who they are, and they wanted nothing to, we were the worst of the worst to them. But like what they do now, they only want to be black when it benefits, if there are resources involved. And like now you got that African Union trying to steal our reparations, but telling us we don't have a vote. Again, that's that slave mentality. They want to make money off of us once again. Every time we turn around, they want to make money off of us. They're not trying to say how we can work together to do things. Because I saw a video the other day that was showing how people that had gone to Ghana and other countries, see, their economies do not sit up like, the Western world. There's not a lot of job opportunity there. There may be some opportunities where you may be able to go there and create a business and hire the locals. That's about it. But as far as going there to, get a job and just work a little bit, that's not possible. And in some of these countries now, they're not allowing people to, work. You got to, if you go there, you got to bring your job with you, and they're not going to let you stay if you don't have the means to provide for yourself. They don't have the resources like we have here. And when their people come here and they want to look down on us, but they're on government assistance. Some of them get their rent paid for 2 or 3 years. We're not getting any of those benefits, but they want us to believe that they're so great. And we're like, no, you're not. So I don't think it's going to pan out to be as great as they want it to be today because of the information that we have access to. See, back in the 90s, you had the Pan-African, they were primarily in charge of all the information that was being disseminated. But now we see a lot of them even lied to us about because they would say back in the 90s, they would say that there was some involvement, but it wasn't like what you think. Oh, no, yes, it was. It was. But see, nobody wants to admit that. And so that's why I say I don't think this Panafest is going to pan out. Not today, it's not, because you got too many young people. They see it for what it is, a grift. And I'll land with that.
All right. I got to read this one comment here from Amon. He says, we got to let go of slavery. It's not even distinct to us. There's more slaves now than ever before in history. We should be mad at what happened after slavery, crack epidemic, our culture being stolen, our rights to our inventions being stolen. Not this fight, man. That's pretty wild what that person said there. But shout out to you, Professor. I see you up in the space tonight as well, too. Can you hear us, Professor? Thank you, Professor. And I'm not sure, Professor, can you hear us?
Okay, yeah, I'm here, man. What's going on with y'all, family? What's going on?
What's up with you, Professor, man? What do you think about this? It's a pretty interesting topic. I don't know if you saw that post that the Black Carson Tucker put out. It's got a lot of comments, well over 600 comments, and there are people saying all kind of different things about this. Some people feel like, hey, it's just a way of paying homage. It's a way of remembering a horrific situation that took place historically on the actual continent of Africa, while other people feel like, well, hey, you guys played a big part in it. and you really shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Let me ask you something real quick, Professor. Do you think that because based off of it, they doing tours to the actual slave dungeons and everything else over there. Do you think this is a way that the exhibition, this festival, whatever you want to call it, you think is this a way that you can kind of bridge a gap between Black Americans and Africans? Is it a way that you can find a common ground, or you think that it's just opening up old wounds or whatever? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first I want to say shout out to you, my brother. Good to see you having another space here. As always, the news total spaces are the top spaces for the Black American family, because this is where we're going to get a lot of our information. So really appreciate you when you have the time to do this. And I know I speak for the majority of the Black American family, man. We thank you for coming in and making some time to bring the news that relates to our people, that we need to know about. That a lot of our people don't know or are not aware of. So with that being said, shout out to Black Majority right there. My boy WPI, my two brothers right there, WPI, Black Majority. Of course, Original, the Professor, Original, the one that teaches us a lot. Sister Gone Fishing right there. Shout out to her, and Sister Nita, and all the rest of y'all up in here. Let me say this, Total. And shout out to Sway Me. Yep, shout out right there. I just saw you. Sway Me, shout out to you. Let me say this. Only thing that they can do on that continent of Africa to bridge the relationship, right, is to do their part of giving us reparations. That's where I see this going, okay? If they really want to do something to help, right, and to bridge some kind of gap between the two, do your part and pay your part of that reparations that you are responsible for, because you sold us to some people that are evil, that we're still having to deal with to this very day. These evil demons that we see over here daily in America because of U.S. chattel slavery, you are partially responsible for that. So you should pay part of the reparations package, okay? That's where you really want. If everybody really wants to do anything to bridge the gap with us, they can do it on the African side of it, and then over here in the U.S. side of it, these demons that we deal with over here, they need to do their part of it to bridge the gap. That's it. I don't want your apologies. I don't want you doing all these commemorations, these going through trying to relive the moments. All I want people to do is pay back or right the wrongs of what you have done, right? That's it. That's what I think most of our people want. I think most people in here will agree with me that this is the way that we can make up for some of this loss, some of the pain, some of the suffering, the trauma. This is how you can do it right here. I don't need people to do commemorations. I don't need people to try to hold some type of unity fest. I don't need any of that. I just need people to pay the reparations for what is due. That's old. The debt that is old. That's it. And I hope, when I say this, the majority of the family in here can understand that this is what we need to be going for. We don't need people to sit up and talk about, well, yeah, let's have a unity fest with the Africans. I don't need it. Don't want it. So that's my take on it, Total, right there.
You made some points. One thing, and I don't know if y'all know too, even though this festival here is in Ghana, they have a number of, to my understanding, they have a number of these Panifest. They call it Panfest over here in the United States. I guess the proper term is Panafest, but over here they call it Panfest. But they have a number of Panfest right here in America as well too. So You know, I didn't really, too much look up on those there, but I know they have a number of those festivals. I think they had some in Virginia and some other places as well too, but they have a number of those actual festivals taking place in the United States as well too. Now, Professor, you'll have some people say, you know what, that happened a long time ago, and they'll say that, we're being judged by our ancestors, that we had nothing to do with it. That you'll have Africans say, this happened 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 generations ago. Why are we being blamed for what our ancestors did when we had nothing to do with it whatsoever? We weren't alive. We didn't personally sell any slaves. We didn't do this. We didn't do that as well too. So you'll have that. You'll also have that pushback as well to us. And hey, you know what? You'll have some say we're trying to extend the hand, and we're looking for brotherhood and partnership and everything else like that as well too. Is it fair in your estimation to, hold the actual transatlantic slave trade over a newer generation of Africans, so to speak? Because they'll say, hey, you know what? We didn't do anything from it, and a lot of us didn't gain anything as well too. And you even have some Africans say, the entire continent. Now, I know that this is taking place in Ghana, West Africa. So you have other parts of the continent as well. So, we feel like we get blamed for the transatlantic slave trade. And yet I'm from North Africa. I'm from South Africa. I'm from East Africa, so for those Africans, and this is for you too as original or DJ, anybody else, Sway, I see you came up here as well too. So if you want to speak, get your hand up, because I love to hear what you got to say. For those Africans saying, we had no part in this, and the trauma that you guys felt, we also felt that trauma as well too, right here on the actual continent as well too, because our people were being depleted. Our villages, our tribes, our empires, and everything else was being wiped out and depleted because of the actual transatlantic slave trade as well too, and a number of us fought back against it. What would be, and this is for anybody, not just Professor, but for anybody in here, what would be your response to that when people say, you know what? We, in a sense, we're just as big of victims of this, because this opened the door for colonization, everything else. We're just as big of victims in this as you guys that were taken, or your ancestors that was taken off of this continent and dispersed all throughout the world as well too. What would be original, Professor, either one of you guys, DJ, Sway, any one of you guys that want to respond to that, let me know.
African soul Negroes. Wrap it up, folks. In the stories. We'll see y'all tomorrow, all right? African soul Negroes. How y'all doing?
And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying for the generation of Africans that's there now, saying, hey, you know what? We didn't sell Negroes. Like, we didn't have, and you'll have some that say, we fought.
No black poppy.
But you'll have those that say we fought against it as well too. So, and then you also have those that say, you know what?
What have you done for me lately?
You'll also, because I saw that in the comment section too, you also like to go ahead, and I've seen a bunch of people say, you know what? Well, your ancestors themselves was selling slaves too, and they just got caught up in the transatlantic slave trade as well too. So a lot of y'all that came to the New World was actually selling slaves yourself, and unfortunately, you just became a product of it. And then you have some people saying, well, we didn't have a choice. We was forced because guns was drawn on us and this and that or whatever. Like, what's your response to that?
Oh, go ahead, sister. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry, WPI. Go ahead. You already speaking.
I'm Lady Favorite Sister Queen. How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, I'll say that Africans are still in the slave trade business right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and a large part of the continent, yeah.
Do a search for slavery in Ghana today.
So they're still doing it. They're not making sure that they people stop. So that means you're still in that same spot that you were during that time when the slave trade was going on. So I don't see anybody stopping it. Like, we don't have people. Okay, so we had some freedmen that own their own people. We're not doing slavery today in America, right? We're not enslaving, and you got people foreigners coming over here trying to do slavery right now from Africa. Did y'all see where Well,
Are you
see,
sure about that?
huh?
I said, are you sure that we ain't enslaving black people here in this country too as well? Two things could be true at the same time. Let's see if you hit for it.
Well, you know, we don't know of any cases, but if there was, I'm pretty sure our people will find out and speak out about it. Right? We're not going to continue.
Let me know when you're ready for the answer. I got you. Boule, the Boule and the NAACP.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, I feel where you're going. The overseers.
Well, I would say now the Boule, even the Boule them are not selling people as slaves even nowadays. Even though they might be foot soldiers or whatever, they're not even actually selling people as slaves now.
Hey, Oprah, the black Giselle Maxwell. Hold up, bro. Allegedly, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there's no proof that Oprah, people say a lot of stuff about Oprah. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say that. Like, there's no proof. Yeah, there's no proof that Oprah's not she's not trafficking people and stuff. Now let's be real here. She's not.
I said allegedly, bro. You don't say, don't take my comment back. Don't say that.
I wanted to hit on something the professor said as far as reparations. You all remember the UN said that they were supporting us with receiving reparations through the United Nations and was holding the United States accountable and Britain accountable at one time. And the Africans did nothing. They did nothing, and they were part of the United Nations. Again, they had an opportunity to do something to support us, stand in solidarity, and the entire time, they did nothing. And now, as soon as Trump removes us from the United Nations, what are they doing?
Complaining.
And trying to latch onto us for our reparations.
And look, where that money Joe Biden gave you, that $55 billion, son, y'all ain't even try to give us 15, 20 billion of it. Sucking MCs, man. See, I'm in my mic, no.
So, Sway, let me ask you, in your opinion, your estimation, because Professor saying pretty much the only thing they can do is pay reparations. That's pretty much your mindset as well, too, is that, hey, there's nothing that you guys can do for us but pay reparations. And maybe once you pay reparations, then we can start the healing process. Is that your mindset?
My mindset is forget that. Let's go get our closure. Let's go get our reparation. Let's go get all that gold and diamonds and minerals and resources, and we just use it for our good here over in America. That's where I'm at. We go get it. We ain't going to sit at no table and deal with them to get it because they're not going to deal with us. They have literally stated over and over again they prefer doing business with the white man. So you know what I say? Put the white man out front, go over there and get our minerals and resources, and the white man have to give us percentage of it when they get it.
So you're saying that we should pretty much, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to misuse your word. You're saying that we should pretty much have the same mindset that everybody else that has to go over there to Africa. Say, you know what, we gonna come over here with a pretty much a colonizers type mindset, since you guys haven't really done right by us, and we just gonna take. We'll work in unison with the white people because we know that's all they want anyways too, is resources, and we'll be we'll pretty much serve it as the way of going about getting it. Am I correct or wrong? Or
you're correct, and Trump met with some African leaders, and one of them was already at the table ready to give up his minerals, y'all. Yeah, that's what I'm at. That's where I'm at, because they've had every opportunity. And then at the same time want to say they stand with us. But their actions do not align with their words. They always talking, but they never, ever put anything into action. And the fact that Malcolm X went over there and asked them for support, and then the UN in the last, 10 years have held America accountable, and they did nothing. And all you need is two countries to come forward and go against America to support us for reparations. And 54 countries, I don't know how many of them are a part of the UN, but we know Ghana was a part of the UN. We know Nigeria is part of the UN. We know, I think, even Liberia, Sierra Leone, Senegal, None of those countries supported us in our reparations and holding America accountable. So yeah, let's go get what's ours from the continent, and we use it over here in America.
Hey, so the Slavey just said something very important there, because I have brought that issue in several of the spaces where I have talked about the UN and said that the United States owes us reparations. They have done great harm to Black Americans. Now, let's remember, family, our great leader, Malcolm X, went to the UN. See, this is why I say he was the most dangerous of the leaders. That's why they wanted him gone first, because he was going global with trying to get things done for Black Americans, even to the UN, to make sure things were done, to make sure that we was recognized and make sure that our humanity was recognized. See, so that's why they had to get rid of him first. That's very important, Sway. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, sister.
So let me ask y'all something. Do you think it would be easier or more likely that you could actually get, probably, let's just hypothetically say, somebody like Trump that's in office right now, that they came up with some kind of legislation and say, you know what, we're going to start, because I see they're talking about cutting funding and stuff from Africa before and everything else like that. But do you think it would be easier to go through somebody like Trump and his administration to go ahead and maybe set up something where Black Americans would go over there and be an intermediate and possibly get resources from Africa? Or do you think it would be easier to actually partner up with some of these actual African governments and say, you know what, we both have a common interest here. We have the skills and the technology and the skill set to come over here and help you guys utilize your resources? Which one do you think is more likely, that the United States government, in particular with the administration in place right now? Because I know a lot of people, I know Trump is doing a lot of things and this and that or whatever, but it'll still get back to, hey, a lot of people look at this administration and I know DEI and that kind of stuff really hasn't been beneficial to Black people, but a lot of people say, well, you know what, Trump kind of dog whistles a lot of anti-Black type stuff as well too. Would Trump even be willing, or his administration even be willing to perhaps bring in billions of dollars of minerals and everything else by using Black Americans as a means to get it? Even though we know that most white people in this country don't want to see Black people get that kind of wealth and stuff like that. Like, what would it be easier to partner with Nigeria, Ghana, or whatever, country or whatever over there? Which one would be more realistic in y'all opinion?
I think the more realistic is because it's already in action or a plan. I'm pretty sure they're creating something, but he's already sat down with some of those African leaders. And, I know that some of our people in the past have attempted to do business with Africans, including me. But they their culture is all about scamming us, y'all, that I just don't see it. I mean, I was attempting to do imports, exports with Black women and their hair care products and makeup. And they wanted to make sure that, just importing, and for the partner that I had, that's another thing, I'll get to that. But the partner that I had in Angola, Africa, they wanted me to spend the monies for customs. And when you get the products out of customs, they charge you, right? So they make up the fees. They decide that they tell you what the customs fees is. It's not posted anywhere. It's not written anywhere. They leave it all open so they can scam you. And then having a partner, they make it so that you have to have a partner in doing business or trade with them on the soil. So then you still are going to have someone on the soil, if you're not going to be there, right, that is going to have to watch that individual. So unless you're going to go there and really be in tune with the work and watching and operating and looking at everything, and it's still going to cost you unless the federal government, creates some kind of arrangement. Because the Africans ain't gonna do right, y'all. I tried it. They ain't gonna do right.
That's very interesting. Because I know you hear a lot of people talking about that type of business over there, exporting and importing and everything else like that as well too. So to have somebody that actually tried to do it, that's very, very interesting as well too. I just have a hard time believing that the government, who's always, even if it was something, even because I've long said this, and I've said this in other spaces as well too, like, United States government, they could have been had black people over there in Africa working with them over there, and they could have secured a lot of wealth and resources and everything else like that. But I think that the simple fact is that I think that they're so scared and intimidated black people over here would go over there and get this enormous amount of wealth and stuff like that as well too. So I think that's something that always is kind of, scared them a little bit as well too. So, but it would be interesting. It would be something. I mean, because we know they have an abundance of resources and everything else like that. Unfortunately, they don't have, even though I guess you could say they have access to it because the minerals and everything else is right underneath the ground and the countries and the lands that they're on. They're not the ones that's actually extracting it and refining that stuff as well too. So, they're getting pennies on the dollars compared to what they could really be getting. But I find that very interesting. Extreme X on YouTube said they are doing more business with white people than doing business with American black people. They love white people. Extreme X, shout out to Extreme X as well too, and that's a problem right there. Extreme X as well too, and that's the reason that they that they're gonna keep it underdeveloped as well too. And what's the cat name in the country that kicked the French out? I cannot think of his name right now over there. And I can't even think of the country name. Y'all know the one that kicked the French out with the mines and everything.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
General Ibrahim Traore.
Now let's say that you try to set up something with them. The United States government, because of the way he did the French, I don't think they would allow you to even, if you say, we're going to set up something with Burkina Faso's government and we're going to work with them and we're going to, we'll help them with the gold. I don't think the United States government would allow that because they'll consider that too much of a threat as well too, especially since he kicked out of colonial power in France. I think that would be a big issue. Now, if you could bring black people in and they could secure a deal or something over there, that might be a little bit different there, whatever. But I think you would have an issue with the government saying, well, these people are this and that or whatever, and their temperament and this and that or whatever. So I think you would have all kind of excuses and people coming up with reasons for that not to happen as well too. Original, what's your and shout out to I see that Negro up in here as well too. Shout out to that Negro. Shout out to Black Majority State, Nita, Nappy, Mary. I see a bunch of y'all up in here. Make sure y'all tweet out the space. But original, based off of what Sway said in terms of pretty much hey, you know what? Because Sway had the idea. She's like, hey, we don't need to try to partner up with them and team up with them, and let's just go over there and take the resources. Now, I don't know how easy that would be to go and do that because you would have to have some kind of government backing. I don't know if you could just show up to a sovereign nation and then say, you know what, we just gonna hey, we're gonna take y'all resources and this and that or whatever. You'd have to have Big Brother backing you, and Big Brother would have to be the U.S. I don't know how easy that would be, but what's your thoughts on that, Original? If you have any thoughts on that, you or Professor or DJ or and anybody else that wants to come up here and speak as well too, definitely feel free to come on up here and speak. I want to hear what you guys got to say tonight. My girl Stephanie, I know if you get a chance, I know you probably at work. Come on up here. Dark and Lovely. It's been a hot minute since we heard from you, sister. So I know you holding it down for the New Yorkers up there as well too. You get a chance, come on up here as well too. And we want to hear it, y'all. We want to hear what you guys got to say, because like I say, that post, about the actual the Panafest and everything else, the unity and everything else that people said they're trying to build, and it's supposedly not only for Black Americans, but it's for the entire diaspora that went through the actual transatlantic slave trade. They're saying that they're remembering their ancestors and, you know, the pain and everything, the suffering they went to. Emancipation Day. And I believe that they've held these festivals also in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, and some other places. And like I said, they hold them over here in the United States as well too. Now I'm not sure when they hold them over in the United States if they Caribbean you know, ran or not, but I know in Virginia and a few other places, I can't remember other places that they have the Panfest as well up here as well too. But yeah, original. What do you think about what Miss Sway is saying about you know, securing these resources and everything else? And I saw Black Majority setting up 100 as well too, like saying, hey, yeah, it's not going to be easy, you know, just to like I don't know if we know Ghana has all kind of gold and Ghana has the cocoa beans and they got all kind of resources and everything else like that. I don't know if we could just come up there tomorrow and say, you know what, hey, you know, y'all gonna do business with us one way or another. We just gonna take this by force. So I, you know, we may have some military. I know, Professor, I know you was in the military and everything as well, so you understand tactics and strategy and how to devise certain situations and everything else like that before. So I want to we got a military man up here. We got one of our elders up here that's well schooled and so many different things. I want to hear what you guys got to say about that as well too, because it sounds good. You know, it sounds good, but I just don't know how much weight that would actually carry without the United States as well too. And then if you did go there, let's say you were able to go over there and do some stuff like that, you know, the United States is going to want their cut as well too. So I'm just trying to figure out, how would you go about doing that? Would you have to almost form a LLC, a business or something like that? You have the money to actually, you know, buy land and buy mines and buy things, and you know, what's your mindset on that as well too? Original Professor, y'all with it?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think I understand what Sway is saying, but I think probably, and I don't think she mean just go take it. We would have to, you know, have some kind of agreement where say, look, you all did this to us, and you still have slavery going on today in your country. And to assist in making this right, we need access to.
Real quick, Reg, do they have slavery still going on in actual Ghana itself, though, or are you talking about some other nations in Africa?
No, do a search for slavery in Ghana today. One article came up from 2021, and then when I was at work, I did it, and it came up where there was stuff going on, you know, to this day, because you have to look at the fact that they have children over there that they are forcing them to work in these places where they have these minerals that are being extracted from the earth. And these children, they are basically working as slaves. They're not getting an education and other things. They're just basically told to go out there and work and help them to extract these minerals, and then they will pay them some low wage or whatever, you know, to equivalent to, you know, slave wage over here. So I think it's something that I think this conversation is one that has been needed for quite some time, and they don't want to admit that if you look at it, they always want us to come over and embrace them, but we see how their people come here, and their people are not being truthful. They're being like the scammy Nigerians who want to scam us out regardless of where they're from. Once they see that you are a Black American, they're wanting to, you know, scam against you and do other things instead of helping you.
Yes.
So I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you was finished, but go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm finished. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say yes, sir. I see we got the Black Majority State up here. What's going on with you, Black?
Hey, good evening, News Toter, co-host and whole family in the space. I came up to you know, chime in on this trade situation. So Trump recently had I think it was 5 sub-Saharan African countries come to the White House and basically do like a mini African summit. One of those was Liberia. Shout out to Liberia. Those Americo-Liberians are a part of the lineage, whether people acknowledge it or understand it or not. But he had them there. Now, if and when we had black majority states, our U.S. rep, our senators would have been intimately involved in that conversation. They would have been at the table. In fact, likely what they could do is have summits in Africa with several nations. And we're talking about the presidents of the countries, not the people, because the people don't have any power. It's the people and leadership that have the power. You'd have summits on a regular basis where there are resources in countries that have favorable trade relations with the United States and are not considered enemies of the United States. And that would be like light work, because you just sit down at the table, you look at the resources, you say, this is what we want access to. You set up the agreements, and then it gets stamped. And it would be a very simple process, like very simple process. Nothing complicated about it. None of the delineation and diaspora wars would be relevant at all, to be quite honest, because we're talking about power to power. I do want to highlight, because you talked about Burkina Faso, or Togo, which is also on the West Coast, right around the Kingdom of Judah area. Small little country, but they're having protests over there against their government because they installed a family, basically a dictatorship, and they want France out of that country too. The people want France out, but the people in leadership are the puppets of the French regime. In Kenya also, within the past couple of weeks, and these are violent protests where the military's killing people, broad daylight, shooting people, they're burning things. Same thing in Kenya, where they're also protesting against their government. We as Black Americans, Black American Negro descendants, etc., could provide some level of quote-unquote peacekeeping. And I do say that in quotes because what peacekeeping really is, in the way that America projects its power and utilizes these inroads in order to get inside these countries and then start going after the resources, it's just an opportunity to get into the country again. And I'm not saying that we would be vulture capitalists and predatory capitalists, but we could create mutually beneficial trade arrangements for the people, the government, and our people. And again, this would not be complicated. This is very simple, because this is what mature adults in government do. And there's already blueprints all over the world on how this works. But if we're going to operate as individuals, then we're always going to be dealing with the individual issues that occur. I hope that we elevate ourselves to this higher level and we can actually start really facilitating, because there are the resources over there, and we do need to get to them. We do need to get at them to produce products and to produce economy and revenue and scale and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, these Europeans would take the back seat in those negotiations and conversations. It literally would be them having their power and their structure. It is what it is, but us taking the lead. And that would be a phenomenal thing. So I'll just land with that.
All right, appreciate you coming up here, Black. and it's with the people we have in politics now, it's a shame that you couldn't actually. This is why I think people get frustrated when you have organizations like the NAACP and the Urban League and some of these other groups as well too. And like you said,
black fraternities.
Yeah, I like he's saying, like, to me, and I always felt this, and I still feel this, like Black Americans would be the ultimate chess piece. Now I know that you don't have the greatest, at least online, and even in parts of this country as well. You don't have the greatest relationship sometimes with the diaspora and Black Americans, but at the same time, we know the kind of influence that Black Americans yield worldwide. I just feel like they would be the ultimate chess piece that if you were able to go ahead and you could get a foothold in, like Black Majority State said, you would have an advantage over everybody, be it, I believe, whites, Europeans, Asians, East Indians, or whatever, for the simple fact that, hey, you would have more in common with these other people, I would think, than some of these other groups as well, too. And we see that the way, even when people say, well, they don't like Black Americans or this and that. Yeah, they might not like you per se, and it's more of a love-hate thing. But let's be honest. The music they listen to, the way they dress, the fashions, and everything else, there's a lot of emulation of Black American culture as well, too. So could you imagine if you actually had Black Americans over there on the actual ground and stuff like that? But like Black Majority State said, like I said, I think you would have to have, of course, you'd have to have some kind of government intervention, and it could be done. I think it really could be done. It would be, and based off our history and stuff like that. And of course, you can always have one or two bad apples and this and that, whatever. Nobody's perfect, but based off our history, and just based off of how we've always treated other groups in this country, immigrants, other minorities, and everything else, even white people, Black Americans have never really been a group to just exploit people that were downtrodden, and I definitely could see us going over there, and being leaders and teachers and everything else like that, because we've always been that. So I really think that would be, as long as it was mutually beneficial, like he said, and we were getting our proper amount back the same way they was getting theirs. I think it would be beneficial for everybody. But I think you would absolutely have to have government intervention. Now, I'm gonna get to you, Zan. I want to ask Black Majority State one more question. Black Majority State, what's your, based off of and I know you probably wasn't here for the entire space, but what's your opinion on the actual the Panafest and the actual promotion of unity between Black Americans and Africans based off of the actual transatlantic slave trade? Do you think that's something that could be forged, or you think that that's not possible at this point in time?
Okay, man, this is a really good question. And so I've matured on this conversation, and I really, really feel deeply about this statement that I'm going to make. When they sold our people off and they did those rituals in the castle, slave castles, and the forgetful tree or whatever they called it, and that group of people, 388,000, came over here. It is very likely, because of all of the genocides that have occurred on that continent, that the bloodlines of those people no longer exist. There have been infinite numbers of genocides since that time period, 500 years ago or whatever, whenever the slave trade stopped, early 1800s. It is highly unlikely that we have legitimate blood relatives on that continent. Highly unlikely. And so I don't even want to have that conversation, because I just don't know how credible of a conversation it really is. Yeah, we have a shared experience, but we also have that experience with the natives and the Europeans, really with the planet Earth, to be quite honest, in terms of whoever touched the transatlantic slave, whoever benefited from it. All of Western Europeans benefited from it. All of America benefited from it. You could say the whole Western Hemisphere, to be perfectly honest. So I think it's disingenuous. I think people who promote this idea of this over-romanticization of Africa, they're either trying to anoint those people as kings over us, or they're trying to exploit those people. And I don't rock with either of those. So I would prefer not to be involved in commemorations or fests or anything like that that's conflating their issues with our issues, because I really truly believe we are a unique people. We are a different people And I just don't think that helps anything. I think that the conversation is we have some mutual beneficial issues where we could come together on those things, and then we can move forward and progress on that. But for me, if we never talked about the slave trade again, other than in reference to, what we got to get from this government and other governments and corporations, perfectly honest, for me, that would be the best course of action, because they're either, again, trying to use it or for their advantage. They're trying to use it to make us feel shame. They bring those celebrities. You got Sierra going over there. You got Nas's ex-wife. I can't think of her name. Khalees. You got another one that just went over there. And it's like they go over there, they get full of all of this emotion. Some of it's, I'm sure it's sincere. I don't want to characterize how people feel, but I think it could be manufactured and manipulated out of these celebrities. Unfortunately, I really believe that. And then that paints a certain picture. So I would just rather us say, look, it's 2025, let's move forward, and the past is the past, and just go like that. And I hope that it answers the question for me.
All right. Appreciate that.
Hey, Toto, right quick, I just want to say Black Majority brings a very good point there. Again, when it comes to the celebrity symbolism, once again, they will try to utilize Black American celebrities to try to make us feel some kind of way or to get some kind of emotional spill out of it. It's not going to work for me. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I don't care anything about these celebrities going over there talking about they getting dual citizenships. Because you notice these celebrities keep going over there talking about, I just got my citizenship over here at Gum. I just got my citizenship in, I think Sierra got hers in, is it Benign? I think that's what I saw, y'all, Benign. She got hers there. And then we got other celebrities going into Congo or going somewhere. It's like everything they doing now, they trying to find a way to get us to talk about going back to Africa. Like I've been seeing a lot of these comments talking about going back to Africa. And I'm trying to, I'm just sitting there looking at these comments. I'm like, now, what is this really all about? And what it comes down to, these folks want to have a part in our movement. Okay? They always want to try to find a way to be a part of the movement that we have. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want no part of these so-called rituals, commemorations, because I don't want anything involving them in what we are trying to do. We need to keep it all separate, and we don't need to let these celebrities pull us into anything. Don't let celebrities make you think, oh yeah, this is a feel-good moment, my people. Let's go on over there to Africa and get this dual citizenship. Don't fall for it. I'm going to land right there.
All right. Appreciate that, Professor. Let me go ahead and get to Xander. Xander, what's going on tonight? And yeah, I can hear you. So go ahead.
Hey, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Does Panafest promote unity between Black Americans and Africans? No. It's an exploitative relationship, and it's one-sided to try to benefit Africans. Because from here on out, when it comes to Black Americans, anybody that talks about they want unity or some type of camaraderie with us, it's going to have to be one-sided in our favor for a while. It's like you almost say with the Africans to start off with. Let them do something like say, okay, well, Black Americans, we're going to give you, every time we sell some out of this oil field over here, we're going to set this much aside for Black Americans. Every time we sell some diamonds from out of these fields, we're going to set so much aside for Black Americans. Because as of right now, we've done given the world something that they're benefiting from monetarily. Every time they want to do something with us, it's like come around, eat a piece of chicken, do some type of dance, put on some type of cloth. So from here on out, if anybody is serious about some type of camaraderie with Black Americans, it's going to have to be a one-sided relationship in our favor. They got to come and give something that's monetarily beneficial to us, some type of land, access to some type of resource. And like I said, especially when it comes to Africans, let them do something like every time we sell this, or we'll sell this to a black company in America at a discount. It has to be something in our favor. Anybody serious about any type of camaraderie with black Americans from here on out. I'm mute.
Thank you, Xander. Appreciate that. Shout out to Nightfall over there on YouTube as well, too. Shout out. I said a number of y'all came up in the space as well. I see Black Pressure up in here. What's up, Black Pressure? What's up, Re-Raw? Company, I see you up in here as well, too. I see my boy Ray down there at the bottom. Avenge Your Ancestors. What's up? What's up with everybody coming up in here? Y'all definitely go ahead. Infinite Black, what's up with you? Y'all definitely go ahead. Make sure y'all tweet out the space. We having a decent conversation in here, so I definitely want to. And we haven't heard any sisters tonight, so I know some of y'all hiding out in the listener section. Definitely want to get a black woman's perspective on this as well too. So far, the brothers they're doing their thing, but I would love to hear an actual sister come up here and speak tonight. So shout out to everybody coming up in here. DJ, and before I get to DJ, who was that? Black Majority State and Professor made a good point about the black celebrities, because I just saw Lauryn Hill. I'm not sure what country Lauryn Hill was in. Of course, I saw Sierra. We know Stevie Wonder a couple years got citizenship. I believe that Spike Lee and his wife like ambassadors to a country over there in Africa as well too. So you have to remember when you're talking about black celebrities, movie stars, entertainers, singers, and stuff like that, we got to remember how influential that black people are when it comes to marketing and their face and everything else. And it's been that way for the longest. Look at the billion-dollar corporations, Nike and some of these other industries, Gatorade and some of these other industries that's been built off of the actual face and everything of black people. Even when we think about historically, when we think about racial type figures in advertisement, we think about Aunt Your Mama and Uncle Ben and some of these other things that became like household brands and stuff like that. That's in almost in everybody's house and stuff like that. Yeah, they re-imaged it compared to what it was and stuff like that. The Cream of Wheat Man and everything else like that. We can't forget how influential that the actual ability of black people to market certain to market products. Period. In particular, you think about some of the people that's selling insurance and stuff on there. You got Jake from Allstate or something like that, and you had the brother that had the deep voice that was selling insurance and stuff like that as well too. So the ability of black people to market things and stuff like that, that's always been a gift. And you say, hey, well, let me go ahead and get some celebrities to come over there and make it even more, make it even pop off even more. So having, even though, Lauryn Hill and maybe Spike Lee and even Sierra to a certain degree, they're not at the height of their fame anymore, whatever. They're still, they're still famous. They're still, Spike Lee's one of the most famous directors in American history. Definitely one of the most famous black directors. Sierra's visible still. She was a star, and she's married to Russell Wilson. Lauryn Hill's not what she once was, but she's still, Lauryn Hill could still tour and sell out and everything else like that as well too. So the impact of black people to market and to reach the masses and stuff like that, people understand that. This country, white folks understand that. They understand that first and foremost, and everybody in the diaspora understands that as well too. Like, hey, you get a black person on here, whether you're selling shoes or hamburgers or jeans and this and that or whatever, hey, people going to take notice. They're going to listen. They're going to look at, and they're going to see what's up or whatever. And, the more black celebrities that say, hey, you know what, I got citizenship over here to Africa. And, I'm because you always see that people that saying they get in touch with their ancestry and their lineage and their roots and everything else like that. It's a selling point. DJ, go ahead. You got it.
All right, so y'all already heard me say 1,000 times, hey, look, we ain't got to go over there and, hey, you stick them up and none of that other stuff. Or, hey, look, it ain't even got to be as much as far as like signing any real type of decrees or anything, unless we're asking for reparations from the continent of Africa. And, we got to get it here first. So they just, that's a long ways away, in my opinion, because we want our money from America. You know what I'm saying? First, federal government, state government, and any, what do you call it, foundation, entity like Harvard that's selling bodies all day long, constantly getting caught selling bodies. I don't understand why Trump ain't selling down at this point. So, yeah, we want something from Africa too, because you're always telling us to come over there, and then, but y'all always still saying that same crap, like, oh, well, we ain't Africans, and that we Yankees are Carters and Americans. So it's like, hey, man, we just gonna have to find those couple of Africans that's willing to, and that's down with the black Negroes, and they out here, you know what I'm saying? To say, hey, look, yeah, let's go do some trade business, whatever. Because otherwise, everyone else is really just a hater. Now, again, the only tellers is those that's against our reparations claim. Otherwise, you're just a regular Joe. Now, in the sense of doing business, you already know I'm talking. You ain't got your tax ID. We can't even have no conversation about no trade tariff, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let's start there, dude. Let me see them 9 numbers. Oh, you ain't got that? Well, hey, I'm me and my mic. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. But I'll just keep repeating what I've been saying. Black Americans got the know-how on farming. Rest in peace to their ancestor, George Washington Carver. You know what I'm saying? And a tether killed a Black American woman and injured in critical condition their family member right here on my block, old neighborhood, where Weequay was, still my neighborhood, North Weequay section, right in front of George Washington Carver School. The hospital where I'm born at, North Beth Digital, 1 block away. You know, could have saved this woman more or less, but you drunk rolling around, you don't know no better. See what I'm saying? We got to know how to actually go over there and terraform Africa, because there's a lot of dry deserts over there, like in the north, where the Aranac is at. But, you know, how they talking Panifest, and y'all can't even get them Arabs to be on accord with y'all. But y'all like Sway me said, y'all too busy want to be on the call with white folks. So shout out to my great auntie, Bahira. You know what I'm saying? Black people love white people too much to give them up. So it's like, yeah, you know, we're going to have to delineate within our own ranks, get away from the Obamas, the Boulets, you know what I'm saying, the D.R. Hugleys, you know what I'm saying, the so-called Black Americans, but they really tell the gang like Roland Martin, you know what I'm saying? Got to get away from these type of people first. So that way, hey, those that are on the court, because they are out here, I meet them every day, being right here in New Jersey. So they may not be in abundance where you at, but I'm pretty sure there are some, you know, that are on the court with the Negro, you know what I mean? Just say, hey, look, I want to do some business. You know, the history will do, and get busy. You know what I mean? Let's go. But at the end of the day, what I hear a lot of Africans say when it comes to stuff like that, they waiting on us to step up, to give them the word, to say go. So it's like, hey, you know, we're always too busy. We've been too busy lately not wanting handouts, but it's like waiting on the government to do something for us. And then now the problem is you got all these Democrats constantly blaming Trump, this, that, and the third. And then you got the Democratic shells, you know what I'm saying? Stephen A. Johnson, whatever his name is over here on X, you know what I'm saying? Democratic shells that say, hey, Trump, this, that, and the third. But like, hold up, what the hell did Biden do for us? You got Obama still talking, hey, man, a straight black young man need a gay G-man, you know what I'm saying, to teach him how to be a straight man. What kind of crap is that, yo? You know what I'm saying? Look, because of the show, I got to mix around my words so we don't get suspended or demonetized. You know what I'm saying? Got to mix it up. So it's like, hey, man, we going to have to do something, Black America, because, hey, Black State is right about Black State. You know, we ain't really got no friends. Dr. Henry Clark already told us that. Africa done showed Malcolm X, hey, we can't help you. We got our own problems. Wesley Snipes, you know, I think we should put some money together, do like some, you know, whatever type of fun, you know what I'm saying? Crowd fund to fund Wesley Snipes a movie. Hey, what does the cicada word mean? Wild dog, Black American, Yankee. What? Boop, 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 boop. You know what I'm saying? Throw his ass over the table, black person, you know what I'm saying? We ain't playing them type of games with these people, yo. So it's like, this is why I voted for MAGA Lambert, make it great again as long as the Negroes benefit always. That's the acronym, you know what I mean? MAGA Lambert. So that's our fraternity, you know what I'm saying? Y'all the MAGAs over there, we the MAGA Lamberts, you know what I'm saying? So stay on your side, you know what I mean? Because we're doing our Black State thing over here, and we don't want y'all cracking knackers intervening. You know what I'm saying? We don't want your Asian haters, fake knackers intervening. Tell us gonna tell it, y'all gotta stay over there. Those that's on the court and is willing to be about The business, yeah, you come to the black state to cook out and all this other stuff. Yeah, but don't be trying to infiltrate like these North Koreans who just got caught the other day. They ain't gonna never want to be on a call with us. Got melanated folks from anywhere in the world, go anywhere in Asia, all they get called is the N-word. Because I forgot N-word means something different over there, positive or whatever it is, but they think it's funny. But see, we'll smack the fire out of them and make them song out of them. They wouldn't dare say that over here, you know what I'm saying? Because they know they'll get handled, you know what I mean? And look, we got a lot of these Asian folks back to them, and I know we're talking about the Panafest, but hold up a minute. We need to be talking about some type of global unity with us. You got right now in Texas a white cracker knacker that was just arrested for plotting to kill Jews and black people. So, hey, J Gang, it'll be a good time for you to get on the call with us, because we've been trying to get on the call with you, the secret relationship between the Jew and the Negro. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Let's go. You know what I mean? We ain't got time to come into your synagogue and say, hey, look, let's be on the court. You gotta come to the hood now. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Latinos. Hey, why Fat Joe still around saying he cracked Kim Allah? See, this is why they had to lock up all the old heads and body dudes and put them all people in the ground. Because some of us did not play that stuff, bro. Hey, Fat Joe, you know, bro. There's a lot of dead and gone Negroes, bro, that would have broke your jaw, B, for even playing around like that. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't know if the new 5%ers or something. I ain't heard nothing from that. How he run around saying he black? How he run around saying he Latinos benefit 50% of hip hop? Busta Rhymes, Tether Rhymes just got a star on the Walk of Fame, bro, or Hollywood Walk of Fame. They don't deserve that. Running around saying Americans ain't got no culture. So who you was specifically referring to, Tether? Oh, you was talking to the Negroes, because when it comes to anything music related, all music is Black American music. Our ancestors done toured the world and gave everyone funk, soul, gospel. Hey, Groove 101, fam. Anything dance music related came from Earl Young from Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? He 80 years old, still drumming and performing. You know what I mean? He the godfather of disco for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They done toured the world with the Tramps and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. So, you know, we ain't here to play with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, y'all gonna have to come to us. We shouldn't even have to come to y'all with any type of deals. But the problem is, you know, y'all so scammy, yo. And that's really what it falls down to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all so scammy, yo. You still got Jay Morrison out here trying to scam people. Trying to scam our people still. Jay Morrison, yo. You know what I mean? Y'all know who he is. Tulsa real estate firm. Look, I hate to admit, he allegedly from Newark. Oh, my God, hell no, I don't know that knacker. Because I've been asking, who the hell know that knacker? Nobody know that knacker. What side of the block he from? South Orange, Springfield Ave, Stuyvesant, Chancellor, where he from, Pete? Because I don't know no one that know him. What jail he did, Tommy? Fair, Broadway, Trenton, said where he was at. The whole jail. Nobody noticed it. He was thrown away. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't the most famous knacker in my life, but I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can easily say, yeah, I know him. He went to school with nobody. I don't know nobody said that, yo. Fine. So where he come from, yo? You see what I'm saying? This is why I be trying to tell y'all, hey, when you come places that ain't from the South, you better check your background, because you don't know who's who. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, ask 1,000 times, where your family from? Like Tariq be saying, right? Where your family from? You know what I'm saying? How many generations? Oh, yeah, ask all that. Because a lot of folks up here have been cosplaying for a long time too as well. So it's like, hey, man, y'all going to have to be on the call with us. But they're not willing to do that, like Sway Me said. And I ain't trying to hold up the microphone. I'm just, trying to get y'all to understand that, two things could be true at the same time. Yeah, we could go do business with Africa and not even have to go to Africa, to be honest with you, to do business with them. You ever look at African farmers that got hectare acres of land, yo? So much land that they own naturally within their generational tribal state, farm, family, whatever. All the pineapples got to go rot in the earth because they ain't got no one to pluck. All the papayas got to go back. All the mangoes got to go back in the earth because they ain't got no one to harvest it. Harvester machines, that's not a lot of money. You could buy secondhand and still get 10 years out of John Deere. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, they making parts for it still. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna never stop that because of a tariff thing. So it's like, hey, let's go buy some of these old John Deere from John Deere, get warranties on it, send it overseas. Hey, look, make sure when the first produce come back, we got our processing factories already over there. Or we could just put the raw goods on a ship, all the mangoes or whatever, and just send it over here. But like, my whole idea is just make everything over there, then ship it. So, hey, we making preserves, breads, whatever it is we need to make. You know what I'm saying? I go to the supermarket around my way. There's all types of import stuff in there. I spent my whole life as a DJ buying import records. So I know everything, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, man. Hey, if y'all African knackers who want to do business with Black American Negroes, y'all can come support News Total, get a subscription, largest Black curated news on the web. We do that diaspora news too. Let's go. You know what I mean? Hey, you want to really start doing this networking contracting? Come up to Fund It Socially, funditsocially.com. Come up there, make an account. Yeah, you might see Mouthy Megan room up in there, but hey, at this point, the internet is just jokes, right? Let's get this money for real, because otherwise, tell us don't tell it. That's all I got. But go ahead, Sway, whoever want to talk.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get to Sway, and then I got you, Xander, and anybody else. Brother Moku, I see you up here as well, too. So if you want to speak, just go ahead and raise your hand. Anybody in the listener section want to come on up here, raise your hand. We will get you up here as well, too. You got it, Sway.
Thank you, News Toter. I just wanted to say that, Ghana had that year of the return, and they grossed billions of dollars off of us, right? And in that, Ghana still didn't do anything to stand in solidarity with us. They made money off of us, some of us that decided to go over there and be exploited. And then they were also had filed for bankruptcy. So even now, they're still in a situation with money, and we already know that Nigeria literally sued the United States government back in 89, 90, as soon as we, Ogletree introduced our HR 40 bill, they decided to sue the U.S. government for loss of capital. So, just the patterns of behaviors and the thought pattern and pattern of behaviors, I say at this point in time, let's cut our losses with the Africans. There's nothing they can offer us because they keep coming to us for money. The $55 billion to help them build out their infrastructure, and it's 2025, and they have all of these minerals. And when I hear people say, okay, let's do business with them, they're not good business people, and they already, I know some of the resources, they already have signed agreements with the Chinese. So that's why I'm saying, we got to use our federal government in some way to retrieve those resources. They're not just going to do trade with us, you all, on a fair level. Of being business to business or anything like that, because they've had every opportunity to do that. And I want to talk about a little bit the celebrities, right? So notice that when the celebrities go over, they're not even investing in any businesses over in Africa. Now, y'all know Isaiah Washington. He found out he was some tribe over there and went over there with all them people and was going to build out this and that. And it still didn't even happen for him because they wanted to scam him of money. They thought, okay, he's Isaiah Washington. He has a lot of money. They just see us as money trees and a way to exploit, because a lot of the dignitaries, they're not good businessmen. That's why they scam and take all the money, and the people are still poor. So I just don't see how we can do any business with these people, because they're not capable. That's where I'm at. They're just not capable. They just want to exploit us and what has happened. And then the fact that they still have slaves, and then they look down upon us because we were enslaved. So, I'm over the Africans. And at this point in time, we can go somewhere. I know Africa is a big continent and they got a lot of resources. But if you're talking about doing business to business, I've heard of Black people doing business in South America before they're doing business in Africa. But I'll land it there. And thank you, News Toter.
All right.
Yeah,
thank you. Hey, real quick, DJ, let me go ahead and get Xander and the company real quick, and then I'll get back to you. Let me go ahead and get them. Xander, go ahead, and then the company, I'm gonna get you.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. At one point, Muammar Gaddafi was ready to release something like billions of dollars to basically black folks over here in America. So the same way that black Americans are doing these political parties, that we got to treat the Africans the same way. Say, look, if you want anything from us, break bread first. We're not going to sign a partnership and we're going to have this joint venture of some kind of a fest. Give me something tangible. Give me something like something that I can see, money, resources, dime. It could be anything. Give us something first before we even talk to you. I'm mute.
All right. Thank you, Xander. Let me go ahead and get to the company. Company, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's going on, brother News Toter?
What's up, now?
You can hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I just came back from a trip over there to Ghana, and I'm just doing the logistics of doing trade and what's going on over there. And the only hurdle that I see that's going on over there, number one, is their road systems. It's like that most of the country and everywhere around there is like dirt roads. So say even if you wanted to transport bulldozers and equipment and all the other stuff, it's like you have to transport them on like 4-wheel drive vehicle trucks and stuff like that. So it's like it's very expensive to go over there, invest in all the other stuff. I mean, they already have that type of equipment over there, but then you have to go through like third-party vendors and all this other stuff. It's like it's a whole headache because other people's already said in the space, these people are already tied in to these Asians, these European contractors and stuff like that supply equipment that, just to get equipment from them that's already there, it's like, it would be impossible for it's an arm and a leg just to get through that. And then even if you can produce something or even bring anything back, there's so many tariffs on these countries currently right now that, bringing it back and shipping it and doing whatever is going to be an arm and a leg. And a lot of it is illegal. Like to bring back, even if you want to bring back diamonds and gold and all the other stuff, it's like going through customs checks and all this other stuff. It's like most of it, you can't even bring nothing back from that place. I mean, you could bring back produce and stuff like that, but there's no way to subsidize it or anything that's connected to our system and the way we do things. It's just, there's a lot that needs to be done in order to work with these people. And, I see that it's like a projection of there's probably going to be another 20 years that we got to go through with these people if we want to do any type of business and undo the things that's already been done. Thank you for letting me speak. I had to go down there to see for myself what was going on. And it's like, the things that they tell us, all these great cities and all that. Yeah, there's some great places down there and stuff like that. We went through the slave castles and stuff like that. I mean, it's nothing special or nothing like that. But, I wouldn't definitely, go over there and think about investing, especially we got our own problems here in America, to be going down there investing in a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, it's a whole bunch of pipe dreams. You know, you got to have like millions of dollars to be going down there and messing around with these people. And what we don't even have an army to even protect our companies and stuff like that. We have to rely on the village chiefs and, you know, these, ragtag entrepreneurs that they have down there doing the same thing, like, you know, coming to America, getting people to come to the continent, invest, you know, take a look at what we got going on. We can do this and that and the other. And it's like, even if you could produce something down there and try to make a living, say like you left the United States, you try to make a business down there, you can't even sell the stuff or the products to the people or the services because the money is so jacked up that it's like you can't even, like, the money is like basically worthless and stuff like that. Like the economy's jacked up. It needs to be brought up.
All right. Appreciate that, company. Thank you for that insight. I don't know many people that's ever been to Ghana, so it's good to actually hear about that. I don't know if that festival, I believe it was from June or sometime like that. So I guess you didn't get a chance to catch that festival, the Panafest up there, because if you did, I would definitely like to hear about it. But appreciate you.
No, I just went down there just for business, and I couldn't wait to get back. Trust me, it was like the plane flight was horrible. You know, just going down there, I didn't get no spiritual aspect out of it. You know, I didn't get no enlightenment. Just basically went somewhere I'd never been before, came back. You know, it's California to me, like where I'm at specifically, like, you know, I don't need to leave to go to no other country and abandon where I'm at. Like, you know, this is worth fighting for. It really is. Like, you know, I understand more now why it's important for us to fight for what we're fighting for and stop trying to get these people and get these people to stop trying to turn us into these Pan-Africans. And you're right. These people do not see us the same. Like, even when we went down there, like, they definitely knew that we were different from them. Like, they did not see us as the same people. They saw us as Americans, Black Americans specifically.
All right.
Hey, company. I'm sorry, Thor. I just want to say something, company, right quick. Company, that's good that you got a chance to go over there and experience that. I just want to know from you, are there Black Americans over there that's living right now? Did you get a chance to see any by chance or meet any by chance?
Yeah, there's Black Americans over there. I mean, we went through there through this Christian organization that my father was part of and stuff like that. And, you know, he knew some people and they do this trip and stuff like that. This guy, he's from Ghana and stuff like that. He has hotels and all this other stuff down there. So, you know, like, you know, through the Christian organization, like there's one part of town that's like all Christians. Like most of Ghana is like Christians. And then you have like a small sect that's like, what's it called? You know, Muslims and stuff like that. But around mosques and stuff like, they have like their police free academies and bases like surround.
Hey, company, you breaking up. You breaking up.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to cuss.
Yeah, you were breaking up. We couldn't hear you. But appreciate you coming up here, letting us know about your experiences up there. Florence, I see you up here. Did you want to speak? If you want to speak, raise your hand. We'll get to you, Brother Moku. I see you don't got your hand up, so I know you don't want to speak. But Florence, did you want to say anything?
Yes, I do.
I just want to say it's just very, I don't know, kind of like a dream to go to, think of going to Africa to do business or to live there. I've been to a lot of places in Africa. In fact, my second husband was from Africa. His family was from Jamaica, and they were sent back to Nova Scotia and then back to Africa. And they didn't get along with the Africans because, you know, some of those people went back there in Liberia, Sierra Leone. But I had my brother-in-law had a good friend. You may have heard me say this before. That did the plumbing for the airport in Atlanta, and that's the busiest airport in the world. So some people told him, "Oh, you should go to Nigeria because they have, you know, open sewage." And you know, he took his crew, packed up, and went over there. And he got there, talking to the people. But they told him that he didn't have enough white people in his crew. So he just turned around and came back home. They the most ungrateful people on the planet are Africans. I don't care what you do for them. They will never be grateful. That's just how they are. They're different from us, totally. And we just have to acknowledge that. A lot of times when I travel to the Caribbean, Trinidad, a lot of places, and I find that we, Black American, we are so innocent because we want to help, we want to do for people, we want to love people, you know, because we've gone through so much, you know, and we don't want to see that burden on anybody else. So I think the best thing for us to do right now is to concentrate on our children, building a better world for them here, because this is where they are, and this is where our ancestors were. You know, you build a bridge and people just walk across it because, see, they're all running here while we got our eyes on Africa. They got their eyes on here and want to take over and rise up here. This, what's his name? I can't think of it. Brian? No, I can't think of his name right now. His mother's from Trinidad. His father, he says, from Jamaica. Now, he's a senator. He said, "Why should I vote for reparations? I don't get nothing out of it." That's how they feel.
Baltimore.
Yeah, that's how they feel. So, you know, we got a problem here with these people. They are here trying to take what our ancestors have done and left for us. And we should be we have to fight and really strive for our children to have a future right here. That's where our concentration should be. Because I don't care what you do for Africa, Africa is not going to rise. And an African told me, because of what they did, because of what we did to you all. That's why. So stop trying to do something that God can't fix. You know, we've done enough. It's time for us to concentrate on ourselves, because no one else have given any space or spoke up. Look how long we've been here. Look at all that gold. Look at all the resources Africa has. Why haven't they offered us some of those resources? Why are we getting some of the gold, the oil, the iron ore? Why are we getting some of that? Why don't we benefit from that? But they come here with all that wealth in Africa and benefit off what we have done, and would want to take our reparation and take it there. Why should we build them up? We should take what we got and take our young children. You know, they come out, oh, most of the Africans, we come here, we become doctors and blah, 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 blah. You know, we should train our children because we have a hit. We got a hit with the rap music. All our children start wanting to be a rapper. We lost out on where our doctors, where our scientists, where our lawyers, where our people that, you know, our young people that have done so much in the past. Where are they now? Who's taking that place? You see, we got a lot to correct here for the future of our next generation. And we owe that to them. Certainly do. And the future belongs to them. But we have to help them. And we have to guide and direct. And our fight should be here. We should be taking our children from elementary school, which I'm getting ready to do right now, from elementary school, you know, start there and start training them, teaching them to be a doctor. Who's going to take care of you? Who's going to take care of them? You still want foreigners? You want other people that don't care about you to take care of you? And we had enough of that with all these experiments that we've gone through, even with COVID. So we need to train our children up to be scientists and doctors right here in America where we are right now. And that's the greatest thing we could do and give to our ancestors who put out and gave so much for us and have done a lot for us. You know, a lot of people say, well, our ancestors let us down. I don't think they did. If you see and go back and hear the stories that are told of what they had to go through, and they went through a whole lot. I don't know how they did it, you know. So I think our concentration should be here. And I think with them pulling all these people, these celebrities, because it was about 10 years ago. I don't know if it was Congo or Benin, but one of those places had contacted Smithsonian, asked them, told them they wanted to build a slave, port there for people to come. So there are people there in that country told them, in fact, the king was supposed to come and apologize for slavery. But when he came and people came to hear him, he didn't apologize. He told them about this new slave museum that he wanted to build. So then the people there said, no, you can't do that because you sold our people. So there are some people that are still left there, and they sold those people, and their relatives are here, and some of them are back there, and they haven't forgotten. So I don't know if Smithsonian have gone there. But anyway, I'm going to write and find out if they are. That's something we should not participate in. I know they call the celebrities over there because they can draw a crowd. We need to build if we want to build something, we need to build it right here. I have a cultural resort complex already set up, structured, and everything, waiting to get it financed. Do you know how many people, how much money we could draw to ourselves here? Do you know people who come from all around the world to anything we have? Why? Because of who we are, because of our creative skills, play, music. We could have a blues place there, jazz place. People would stand in line to come here to see that. Why are we wasting our time over there in some slum in Africa that ain't never gonna get it back? Look at all the years they've had. All the years they've had, they haven't done it. Why? You should ask yourself that. Vietnam had a war. Look at Vietnam now. Korea had a big war. Look at it now. So what's holding Africa back? It's because of their mentality, because of and it's not that they think they're better than us. I want to correct that now. Stop saying that. They don't think they're better than us. They want us to think that. The most cockiest, arrogant people are the most inferior people because they have to put on that air. If you really think you're so much, you don't have to put on no air. You just, hey, what's up? What's up? What's happening? But when you got to put on the air and make somebody think that you're better than them, why? Because you're inferior. You want to push yourself up to be superior over somebody that you're not. So please stop saying that. And please, if you think that, do not think that because it's not true. And I land with that.
All right. Thank you, Florence. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get Brother Moku. Moku, I see you finally got your hand up. Go ahead. You got it. You there, Moku?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Total?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm on the road. I was trying to hold out until, I got up in the city, but I appreciate everyone's view and their opinions and BGQs. Definitely logical. They made logical sense, all of them. I do have a few thoughts. I've been, listening to clips and reading newspaper clips, and the one thing that struck out to me in this whole white supremacist media news reporting reports this so-called large influx of Black Americans
moving back to Africa. Now, I know a few personally, individuals here in Baltimore that's moving to Africa. Specifically the country of Kenya. Rihanna is in Kenya. As soon as I heard one news clip in particular that I'll probably play in my space, they kept honing in on America is losing its talent and it's losing its resources. And DJ brought up something that was unique when he said he mentioned the resources. I think everyone that spoke mentioned something about the resources. The resources in Africa don't control. The white supremacists control that. And whether it is a face that looks Asian or a face that looks Vietnamese or Korean does not mean that this situation is not controlled by and given to you on a fresh platter by white supremacy. There are still 13 European nations that just committed the most treacherous torture on Africa, the whole continent, all the countries in it, just in 1884, which most of them don't even really know the intricate details of that information. But when you think about that and you think about the celebrity run, I automatically just thought about Afro beats. And what do celebrities have to gain from that? When you're talking about all the celebrities that they're naming, they're naming lists of them. The one thing that was mentioned by most of the speakers is the money that they have, the money grab that this is about. I still don't see Kenya, Ghana, or any other country in Africa saying, "Negroes, come home for nothing. Hey, we got land for you. How many of y'all come? We got houses, we got land." I haven't heard that. In the news clip, when they were mentioning that America is losing its talent, Black American talent, and all that, guess who was speaking that? Guess who was talking? It was an African woman saying it. One of my businesses in Virginia, I'm always there, and I hardly ever I think I had my first African female customer after the first year. This was just last week. Most of the time, what I get from African women, if not just a smile and a real faint hello, it's a frown. It's a I'm okay. Now I don't mess with that. And we're talking about body odors and scent. So I definitely see a money grab, and it's not an African that's controlling that money grab. And in my opinion, according to the evidence, they have puppet master. Every time I see an African, I see strings coming from their arms and their legs. They're being controlled. They're victims of racism, white supremacy. And most are willing collaborators of racism, white supremacy. That's just according to the evidence. Now, the solution, moving to Africa, I think I feel the same way that everybody else feels. I don't think the solution is moving to Africa.
because the same white supremacy that exists here exists in Africa. And what makes it, I think, makes our situation a little bit more complicated is if we decide to leave the land that we know that we are indigenous to go to a land where there's people that look like us, but we're not indigenous to that land, and we don't know the terrain. That could be a dangerous situation. Can't forget about Liberia. What happened to them Black Americans that went back then in the 60s, I think it was, or maybe even the 50s. I think it was the late 50s. We can't forget about all these back to Africa movements that went sour, when they belly up. So I think our best move, is the logical move, and that is to stay where we are and dismantle the system of racism, white supremacy here, and produce a system of justice. I'm not going to leave this job. I'm not going to pass this down to my offspring. I suggest everybody take a page from that book, and then we move accordingly. Because, see, the answer, I think, according to the evidence, to dismantling and destroying the system of white supremacy and constructing a system of justice, we're not going to get to that point by not focusing on racism, white supremacy, or even not saying it is what it is. Because if we can't honestly assess the problem and say what it is, then it's no way that we can dismantle it. And I think we're seeing evidence of people that are victims of a system that is harming them non-fail, and instead of dismantling the system, victims are trying to tweak it by putting their faces in these places and institutions of racism, white supremacy, and we're surprised when we're not getting the results that we worked so hard for. So I want to thank you for having this space and being brave enough to even have this conversation, because it is a touchy situation and conversation when victims of racism, white supremacy are discussing it, because we all have our own personal views, and I respect all views, even if I don't agree with them, or even if I agree with them. I'm not here to agree or disagree. I'm definitely here to follow the logic. So the logic tells me I don't think we should fall for the banana in the tailpipe, or even waste time entertaining the conversation. If celebrities decide to go over to Africa, Timbuktu, let them go. Good luck. See you when you get back, or if you don't get back, see you when you never get back. And don't even waste time talking about it or being distracted by it, but concentrate heavily on what's being dismantled. Don't worry about who's dismantling it, but put extra time and energy into instituting or inserting a system of justice wherever the system of racism, white supremacy is being dismantled. I think that's one thing, and we should really stop depending on white supremacists to practice justice in a system of racism, white supremacy. I land there. Thanks for letting me speak, and apologies for taking so long.
All right.
To land.
Appreciate that. I'm going to get to I'm gonna get to Xander, and I'm gonna get to Professor and DJ, and we're gonna probably wrap this one up for the night. Go ahead, Xander. You got it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. If you don't mind, I'll share what I was about to do 1 year. 1 year, I actually thought about, because see, what would happen, like what I was doing at the time, I would get probably like about a month or a month and a half vacation time. Now it's probably more like about 3 weeks. But in 2016, I literally thought about going, because see, it's to get a round trip ticket to, in Africa at this point at one time, it wasn't but about maybe $1,000. It might be about $1,300 right now. I was literally thinking about if they had some sense, literally going there with American money, going to any country that like where black folks own a diamond mine there, I was going to literally buy some diamonds with American cash, bring it back here and flip it. Because at the time, the only stipulation there was, as long as it wasn't a blood diamond. But if they had any damn common sense, if they said, look, we'll implement a policy where we'll give these black Americans, some diamonds for anyone that owns the diamond mines. They don't understand what type of a flip that would be for basically both sides. So like if they want to do something with us, why don't they do something like that? Say, okay, we'll set aside, for black Americans, come here, we'll sell you some of these diamonds wholesale. And American dollars is about 10 times worth more than damn near any dollar you got, especially in black Africa or melanated Africa. We'll bring that shit back here and start flipping it and then start our own industry. But that's just me, man. I'm you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Professor and DJ, and we're going to close it out. You there, Professor? No, Professor, you there? Professor may be stuck in the matrix.
Yeah, I'm here, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm in here trying to do laundry too. Sorry about that. So let me say this, family. We all know that our ties belong to the land, which is the land here in America. This is where we belong. This is where we make our last stand. Because like Brother Muko just said, if you got children, you don't want to leave this mess for your children, right? We want to take care of this business. Now, this is the business at hand. This is what we need to be dealing with right now. We need to be taking care of white supremacy, breaking it down right now. We don't need to be leaving this for the future generations of our people to have to deal with, okay? I got a daughter, right? I don't want my daughter left behind with this crap. Okay, I want to say something else, but y'all had to use other words, so I'm gonna have to say crap. I don't want to leave her with this crap, right? I want her to be able to come and be free and feel comfortable. I want her to be happy. I want her to truly experience what the pursuit of happiness is for America, what it's supposed to be in America, right? That our ancestors have not been, that were never able to experience it. We really have not written, well, let me put it this way. We have been able to experience some of it, but not all of it fully, okay? So we need to leave it where our children can experience all of it. That's the whole thing here. I don't care anything about what these Africans are trying to sell to us. I don't care anything about Sierra or Stevie Wonder. And trust me, I love their music. But these celebrities, I'm trying to think. I saw something the other day about the celebrities. I think somebody said something about celebrities tend to be brainwashed by white supremacy because they have to depend on the money. Think about it, y'all. With them, because they in that position, right, and they trying to keep that money rolling in, they got to try to do what they can to save face with white supremacy. So they're going to try to do what they can to kind of, what's the word? what's the phrase? I guess you could say toe the line, right? They're gonna toe the line because they trying to say, well, look, I'm black in America, but I gotta some kind of way keep my money coming in. So they're gonna try to toe the line. They're not gonna get fully down and dirty with us. And they know what's going on, y'all. They know what's going on. Like, for instance, George Floyd, right? They see these cases, but do you ever see any of them speak out against it? All these different cases, y'all, they don't speak out on any of it. Sade Robinson, Brother Buko, if y'all have been in his spaces, you know he's been talking about that case for a while now. Have you heard of any celebrities speaking out on it? Any of our Black American celebrities, right? Have they spoken out on the issue? No. Any of the harms related to any of our people, do you hear any of them speaking out on these issues? Nada. I think, let me see, maybe there's one Black American that I think does try to do something, and I think that's Kyrie Irving. I think he's about the only one that I can think of.
Jersey and let's go West Orange.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving might be the only one, family. And then we even got one that's up in these spaces. And I'm not sure he speaks out on the issues. I think he does from time to time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one Isaiah Washington, the disruptor. I think I see him on some issues, but I don't think he, like I think on this Carmelo issue, I don't think he spoke out against the white boy. I think he actually was kind of caping for the white boy family. See, that's what I'm saying, man. And then, you know, we have had others that just silent. It's like they don't say anything. And so you sit back and you say, well, man, we got these Black American celebrities. A lot of them do have some influence. And maybe if they said something, it could maybe have some kind of positive impact somewhere on our lives. But it's like they don't say anything, and it's like it doesn't really matter to them. So what they basically are doing, y'all, they toe the line. They saying, hey man, I gotta try to keep the money coming in. No, you know, I gotta try to get my movie roles. And, you know, they'll speak out on racism when it comes down to the movies. Like they'll sit there and say, well, I'm not getting any movie roles, right? So they'll say it's racism. They'll speak out on that. Viola. And one of the most powerful actresses in Hollywood. Is she speaking out on any of these issues? No. Oprah? No. And we should know that about Oprah, because when she did her talk show, did she really speak on Black American issues? No. She was always catering to who? Whitey. That's what she was doing. If you ever looked at her show, and I watched her talk show for years, I never saw her. Exactly. She catered to white women. I used to look at her audience, man. I'd be like, damn, where we are we in this audience? Like where are we in this audience, y'all? This is a Black American woman. So where are we in here? Where's the representation of your Black American people, Oprah? And look, if y'all know, my mama noticed it. She noticed it, and my mom was turned off, and she said, the head of Oprah, she said, I see what this woman doing. She don't even try to even look out for her people. She's catering to all white people. And so my mom got turned off by the show. She said, nah, I'm not gonna move with that. Y'all, I think I told y'all in some of these previous spaces, my mom was about Malcolm X. She didn't even care for, well, let me put it this way. It's not that she didn't care for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She just didn't believe in what he was teaching when he was trying to do the integration. My mom was more of the Malcolm X. See, she was on that time. And so she even told me, I never forget it, I'm a land. She said, son, the one that should be in school that they should be teaching about is Malcolm. That's the one they should be teaching about, because he was the one that was all about making sure that our people were self-sufficient, and our people were also defending themselves against these crackers. Oh, excuse me, French told them, sorry. But defending ourselves against these
not a racist slur.
Hey, Professor, but go ahead and land it, because I'm going to let DJ say something real quick, and then we're going to be up out.
Okay, but that was it, family. I just want to say, let's fight.
Mr. Brother.
Oh, man, no. Where's Will at? He's out here, Will. But anyway, I want to just say, family, that's what we got to do, is fight our battle here. We don't need to go nowhere else. Forget what these celebrities are trying to do. Forget what anybody trying to do as far as pushing us over that way. And I'm going to land right there.
All right. DJ, appreciate that, Professor. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm going to just say real quick, because I see Company kind of had this. I know you said I was the last, but hey, sorry, Company coming to late night space. But just again, real quick, I'm not saying that we should go over to Africa. We don't even have to go over there to do business. You got the internet. So we need to go find the folks that are doing the work, meaning folks that are farming, because we all need to eat, or trying to get into some type of skills trade, which is everybody, you know what I'm saying? Especially the men, you know what I mean? The youth need something to do. So with that being said, we're not even asking to actually even have to export any of the stuff over there, but we're going to get our cut straight up, you know what I'm saying, of that fruit and vegetables and everything that's coming from over there, 15%. You ain't got to give us no diamond mine, you know, that's whatever. You can keep that. Just make sure we get our 15% for helping you set it up. It's just really that simple. And it's 15% for as long as this planet stays on this earth. And Black Americans are in existence. We getting that 15%. That'll keep the rest, because China, they charge you 60%. Belt and Road Initiative. So when you're saying we shouldn't go over there and do business with them, I beg to differ, because, hey, somebody getting it. It ain't us. And if they saying that, hey, y'all sold us, well, hey, we want our money back, but we ain't trying to overcharge you, cuz we know you messed up. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like you said, let's move forward, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And some old folks, hey, you feel how you feel. I understand. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with the tethers, but I'm with doing business. So again, Africans, they got hectares of land over there. A lot of it is unfortunately, you know, dry land, desert, all this other stuff, but it could be repermeated or permaculture back into, you know, rainforest or whatever the case be. I'm a landscape agriculture, horticulturist by trade. All that, you know what I mean? So with that being said, we wouldn't even really need to even utilize it in that sense. But we need to get money from out of Africa, because everyone is getting money out of Africa. So if the Africans or certain specific Africans are saying, oh, well, you ain't white enough, fine, we're going to find them Africans saying, yeah, you black enough. I just don't really understand the argument to make it assume, or the assumption that everyone is the same, because that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So when I think it was Black Majority said, hey, yeah, a lot of folks are doing more. So I think excuse me, might have said they were doing more business in South America or certain parts of the Caribbean. Yeah, that is true, because we're close to here on this hemisphere, side of the equator, whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're going to do business close to home. Always buy eggs locally. Get the watermelon locally. You don't want to buy it from California. I'm all the way in New Jersey with I'm buying watermelon all out there for. At least get it somewhere on the East Board. I got all that total in Florida, get a melon. So you know, somewhere in Georgia, get a melon. You know what I mean? Somewhere in Bama, get a melon. You know what I mean? I should have to go all the way over to Washington to get a melon. You know what I mean? It should come from right here. But America stopped producing its own stuff a long time ago, because they saw Black Americans were starting to live the American dream through places like Detroit, New Jersey, you see what I'm saying, Pittsburgh. So it's like, hey, the spots up in the north was the manufacturing plants that they planed up here, took it from us and gave it to the China knacker, gave it to all these other knackers like Taiwan to build semiconductors. But it might have been the white man's invention of the hardware, but it was the Black woman's mindset that sent the man to the moon. So it's like, hey, this ain't no joke, you know what I'm saying? We've been dabbling in technology for a long time, so I don't understand why we can't do business with whomever we need to do business with that's on accord with Negroes. Because remember, you got to come to us. but we'll come to you too because we trying to make this move right now. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, the China knacker gonna get their hands on you and they gonna beat you. We ain't trying to beat you. We just trying to get our money and get our product. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can do what y'all want to do. You know what I'm saying? But we suggest not to do business with them because you're doing business with us, the Negroes, and we ain't trying to dictate who you should or shouldn't do business with. That's why we just gotta make sure we get our 15%. We want to manage this cut. That's all. Good night, y'all.
All right. Appreciate that, DJ, Original, Professor, Black, Florence, Xander, Sway, company, everybody who came up here and spoke tonight. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that's up in the audience listening as well on X and on YouTube. On that note, I don't know if DJ's doing a late night space, but we're going to get ready to end this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he is. He already announced it.
Okay. DJ got a late night space coming up. So y'all catch that. And on that note, we finna get ready to end this. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace, be safe, and we'll see you guys then.
Peace out, family.